You are a part of the Great Spirit. You are perfection. Yet you have allowed others to place limitations upon you. Now is the time of awareness. Now is the time for remembrance. You have chosen this. No other can choose it for you. Trust yourself. Trust your own knowing. Take it by the hand and follow it. Listen, and you will hear the silent voice that speaks to you from your heart. Follow it, and you will know great beauty. From the words of clear water.
Many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintops of our desires. It is what we make out of what we are, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. It is a fact of the human condition that each shall, like a meteor, a mere brief passing moment in time and space, flit across the human stage and pass out of existence. Nelson Mandela, address to the joint session of the House of Congress, 26 June 1990.
Do ye know in what cycle ye are created, and in what age ye exist? This is the age of the blessed perfection, and this is the time of the greatest name. This is the century of the manifestation, the age of the sun of the horizons, and the beautiful springtime of His Holiness, the Eternal One. The earth is in motion and growth. The mountains, hills, and prairies are green and pleasant. The bounty is overflowing, the mercy universal. The rain is descending from the cloud of mercy. The brilliant sun is shining. The full moon is ornamenting the horizon of ether. The great ocean tide is flooding every little stream. The gifts are successive, the favors consecutive, and the refreshing breeze is blowing, wafting the fragrant perfume of the blossoms. Boundless treasure is in the hand of the King of Kings. Lift the hem of thy garment in order to receive it. If we are not happy and joyous at this season, for what other season shall we wait, and for what other time shall we look? Abdu'l-Baha.
Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not the publicans do the same? And if ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. St. Matthew from the Christian Teachings.
Wandering around an Albuquerque airport terminal. After learning my flight was detained 4 hours, I heard the announcement, If anyone in the vicinity of Gate 4A understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate 4A was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing loudly. Help, said the flight service person. Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be 4 hours late and she did this. I put my arm around her and spoke to her haltingly. Shu dawa shu biduk habibti stani shwe min fadlik shobit sewi. The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought our flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for some major medical treatment the following day. I said, no, we're fine. You'll get there. Just late. Who is picking you up? Let's call him and tell him. We called her son, and I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and would ride next to her. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out, of course, they had 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up about 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling about her life, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamul cookies, little powdered sugar crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts out of her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the traveler from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out the free beverages from huge coolers, non-alcoholic, and the two little girls for our flight, one African-American, one Mexican-American, ran around serving us all apple juice and lemonade, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend. By now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. Such an old country traveling tradition, always carrying a plant. Always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones and thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person in this gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, had seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Naomi Shihab Nye.
Should prosperity befall thee, rejoice not. And should abasement come upon thee, grieve not. For both shall pass away and be no more.
Religion is the outer expression of the divine reality. Therefore, it must be living, vitalized, moving, and progressive. This is a century of life and renewal. Sciences and arts, industry, and invention have been reformed. Law and ethics have been reconstituted, reorganized. The world of thought has been regenerated. Present exigencies demand new methods of solution. World problems are without precedent. Consider how the scientific developments of 50 years have surpassed and eclipsed the knowledge and achievements of all the former ages combined. Would the announcements and theories of ancient astronomers explain our present knowledge of the suns and planetary systems? Would the mask of obscurity which beclouded medieval centuries meet the demand for clear-eyed vision and understanding which characterizes the world today? Shall man, gifted with the power of reason, unthinkingly follow and adhere to dogma, creeds, and hereditary beliefs which will not bear the analysis of reason in this century of effulgent reality? Creation is the expression of motion. Motion is life. A moving object is a living object, whereas that which is motionless and inert is as dead. All created forms are progressive in their planes or kingdoms of existence, under the stimulus of the power or spirit of life. The universal energy is dynamic. Nothing is stationary in the material world of outer phenomena or in the inner world of intellect and consciousness. Abdu'l-Baha, address to a Unitarian conference.
The master said, "At 15, I set my heart upon learning. At 30, I had planted my feet upon firm ground. At 40, I no longer suffered from perplexities. At 50, I knew what were the biddings of heaven. At 60, I heard them with a docile ear. At 70, I could not follow the dictates of my own heart, for what I desired no longer overstepped the boundaries of right." Confucianism, Analects 2:4.
Slow dance. Have you ever watched kids on a merry-go-round or listened to the rain slapping on the ground? Ever followed a butterfly's erratic flight or gazed at the sun into the fading night? You better slow down. Don't dance so fast. Time is short. The music won't last. Do you run through each day on the fly? When you ask, "How are you?" do you hear the reply? When the day is done, do you lie in your bed with the next 100 chores running through your head? You'd better slow down. Don't dance so fast. Time is short. The music won't last. Ever told your child we'll do it tomorrow, and in your haste not see his sorrow? Ever lost touch, let a good friendship die, 'cause you never had time to call and say hi? You'd better slow down. Don't dance so fast. Time is short. The music won't last. When you run so fast to get somewhere, you miss half the fun of getting there. When you worry and hurry through your day, it is like an unopened gift thrown away. Life is not a race. Do take it slower. Hear the music before the song is over. Poem attributed to David L. Weatherford.
Here's a test to find whether your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't. Richard Bach.
I journeyed into time. I journeyed into space. I journeyed into skies. I failed to see his face. Sri Chinmoy from 13 Teardrops.
To think that human nature cannot improve is a flawed conclusion. Gandhi writes, "We do see men constantly becoming better under effort and discipline. There's no occasion for limiting the capacity for improvement. Life to me would lose all interest if I felt that I could not attain perfect love on earth. After all, what matters is that our capacity for loving ever expands. I have no message to give except this, that there is no deliverance for any people on this earth. for all the people of this earth, except through truth and nonviolence in every walk of life without any exceptions. I claim to be no more than an average person with less than average ability. I have not the shadow of a doubt that anyone can achieve what I have if that person would make the same effort and cultivate the same hope and faith. Mohandas Gandhi.
Everything is interwoven, and the web is holy. None of its parts are connected. They are composed harmoniously, and together they compose the world. One world, made up of all things, one divinity presently in them all, one substance and one law, the logos that all rational beings share, and one truth. If this is indeed the culmination of one process, beings who share the same birth, the same logos. Marcus Aurelius.
For the first time in history, the dream of peace on earth is within the reach of the nations. Indeed, peace is the next stage in the evolution of this planet. Humanity has the choice of reaching peace after unimaginable catastrophes or achieving it by an act of will. Many signs point to increasing cooperation among nations, while scientific and technological advances provide the means for the solution of humanity's practical problems. The human spirit, whose essential manifestation is mind, has created civilization and material progress. That seeks transcendence, reaching toward the ultimate reality, the unknowable essence called God. Summary of the promised world peace from the Baha'i Faith.
I am the guiding light that illumineth the way. I am the royal falcon on the arm of the Almighty. I unfold the drooping wings of every broken bird and start it on its flight. Baha'u'llah.
A dedication to you. I urge you to trudge not through life, leaving ugly gashes, to tiptoe not through life, leaving half-formed impressions, but to tread gently, lovingly, and purposefully, leaving graceful heart prints. Unity Tao, High Court Judge.
Each moment is fragile and fleeting. The moment of the past cannot be kept, however beautiful. The moment of the present cannot be held, however enjoyable. The moment of the future cannot be caught, however desirable. But the mind is desperate to fix the river in place, possessed by ideas of the past, preoccupied with images of the future. It overlooks the plain truth of the moment. The one who can dissolve her mind will suddenly have the desert of the Tao at her feet and clarity at hand. Lao Tzu, Hua Hu Ching.